I think it's out. Follow it well, I guess.
We probably have to do the webinar now. If I'm gonna work.
You see that way?
No, I want to use the computer.
Okay,
Yeah, do you have the presentation, can we get your
I
thumb
can
drive?
email it, or yeah, if you've got a thumb drive, yeah.
Yeah, me get a thumb drive.
Here's one.
Yeah.
Is it you right now?
Oh, yeah.
Is it working? What's his name? Okay.
I did, but in the wrong bill. No, I did not. Sorry.
I think while you're presenting, we can have the camera here. You're gonna be presenting here. And you guys are gonna be part of the presentation too, right?
Yes.
I think that would be better. Okay. So. I think what we need to do is move. There's like over here.
We'll be standing.
You'll be standing.
No.
And you stand over there just so that I can get the zoom of the. Just to see where I need to go with the camera. There you go. Okay. I feel out. There you go. So if you guys stand there, people will see you. Okay. Okay, and then, yeah, when you have that, then let me know so that I can open it here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when we're ready for the panel conversation, we'll have to switch it to present three.
Okay, I can present from wherever.
Okay.
That's easier.
You need both of them? Both of those?
Jason, you need both.
Yes. Mouse back. all on at the same time. So we have issues with sound and getting both to actually at the same time. Like we can get it in the room, or depending on the setup, we might be able to get it online. It's hard to do. So if that's the case, then we just share the video here.
Okay. So you have the power from over here, and then you have the webinar, you have them started it, but we are.
So
What, 9:02, you wanna go ahead and
get started, and I think I can welcome everybody.
Is this the keyboard for that? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can
find the PowerPoint here on the thing here, and then the chair over here. I guess I can just get started and introduce you and your name.
Jason.
Jason.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay, the city of Dallas to do a DallasNow presentation, right?
Yes, got Celine Alvarez and Clinton Bird.
You can,
Okay.
you can introduce them. All right, so let's
See
see
who's
who's here, we're gonna start it. Get it started. We have some people joining in. People are joining in. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. I'm Saida Sola, Executive Director of AI Dallas, and we're welcoming you here to hear a presentation from the City of Dallas about DallasNow. And with that, I'm going to let Jason Poole start his presentation.
If you have any questions,
Put that in
the Q&A,
and if you want to make comments, please use the chat, and Jason will be just tracking all the comments and all the questions. So.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. My name is Jason Poole. I'm the Assistant Director for the Customer Experience. I have with me two members of our core team. Hey, Donzel.
Good morning.
I have two members of our core team who have been with us for about 2 years, developing and implementing this new software that we're going to demo today. Clinton Bird, and then I've also got Celine Alvarez. With that, I'm going to bring up a quick presentation just to kind of give you a general overview.
I think he was giving people newspapers, but I don't think that should be counted.
All right, hopefully everybody can see that online. So basically, DallasNow is going to be our new land management system. And what that means is it's going to replace all of our permitting software and anything we have to do with land management. Approximately, I guess, 2 years ago, we started on this project. We're actually 2 months ahead of schedule, set to launch May 5th. In June of last year, planning and urban design and development services were combined into one department, which pretty much brought all of our services under one umbrella. That included all permitting, all zoning, all inspections, engineering, all long-range planning, all of our services under one roof. And we were already at work on this system to be able to handle that vision. It's out of the way. So this is a unified system for a new unified department. Again, it's going to bring all of our functions into one place. This system integrates 15 other systems that allow staff to reference things much faster. Hopefully that'll increase speed and accuracy, not having to go to so many places. It is accessible, being that it is an online system. Our current system, Posse, has been in place for a little over 20 years. It's been the same. It's in desperate need of upgrade. It is a locally based software and has a few web integrations. However, this system is going to be entirely online, accessible from anywhere with any device that can access the internet. This alleviates the need to actually come to any of our offices to apply for something. You can do it from the comfort of your home or your office. For those that do wish to come, we will have service centers set up that are attended to help any of our walk-in customers through the application process. This system, one of the keys is real-time transparency. And with this, we have a citizen access portal that will allow anybody to research just about any record we've got. So if you've got a zoning change going through, you can see what's going on with that zoning change. If you've got activity going on in your neighborhood as a citizen, you can see what's going on in your area. As a contractor or an applicant, you can log into this system and you get full access to your projects. There's things you can do in this that you weren't able to do before, as far as managing your projects, managing the contacts and the delegates that are able to work on your projects with you. We have places where basically anytime any activity happens with your project, you're going to receive an email. Once the application is submitted, once the payment's due, once a review comment's made, once you go through a hearing or something's approved, any final documents that are sent out, those will all be emailed directly to you as soon as that happens. Inspection results, that's going to be a big one. As soon as the inspector results that out, all of your delegates or contractors and contacts that you've elected to receive those will receive those instantly as soon as it happens. And the last thing is this system is fully digital. Everything will be loaded into the system. We're no longer paper. Lots of our processes are based in paper, which requires manual handoffs between departments or divisions now, and manual handoffs between teams. This will eliminate that. Everybody will be able to see everything all at once. It should increase our efficiency, our ability to see what each team is doing with a project, and then translate that to your needs as well. You'll be able to see anything going on with what you have. So a little bit about what's to come. Last week and the week before, we initiated phase 1 of a customer service initiative. Essentially, we extended our hours at 320 East Jefferson to 6:30 every day to try and get out as much as we can and service anybody that would come in. This week, we've started our system downtime. During this time, we're transferring all the data over into the new system, and so far that's been extremely successful. We've been getting updates every 4 hours on this process with our teams that are working on that, and our vendors. We'll also be doing testing, which we're starting today. And then on the 5th, we're looking to go live. But during this time, we have limited services. Our online systems and internal systems are not accessible during this time as we rebuild in the new system. What we are doing is we've built a system outside of this new system to handle inspections. So if you do have any inspections, we do have you covered on that, and there is an alternative way to do that. We're doing emergency releases and consultations as normal. So starting May 5th, we will go live, and this will be our phase 2 of our customer service initiative. During this phase, we'll have everybody back in the office online for the first 2 weeks, just to make sure everything is going smoothly. And we've set up a website for all of our updates. This is how you'll access our inspection system during this time. That you may need to schedule an inspection during downtime, but we do have a website set up. It has tutorial videos on there. It's basically going to serve as a hub for everything we do when it comes to Dallas Now. And I would encourage everybody to check out that website. There are walkthroughs. And then we will have actually, when we go live, this will be how you get into the system. It'll be the first point of entry. So let me see if there's any questions. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Clinton and Celine, who's going to get us in the system and allow us to do a quick demo for you to kind of show some of the features of the system and how it works. We're very excited. Again, we've been working on this for about 2 years, and I think this is going to bring us into the 21st century. It is a huge leap for our department, and we're hoping that that anything we can do to better serve you comes through. And that is our attitude right now, that we want to serve you. We want to do whatever it takes to get you where you need to be.
So I'm Bernie Young, Deputy Director. I just kind of fill in the gaps while they work through that. So some of you may or may not know the system that we're on. Again, we've been on it for 20 plus years, and so this one actually connects our plan review system software, which is PDOT, with our land management system, and so they talk to each other, and the efficiencies that the inner department is going to recognize is going to be 20 to 30% right off the bat, because now they're not going to do it to two different systems. Performing a plan review and updating the system. And then the customers is going to be amazing, because now they have access to everything. The outside world can see when we get calls, is there a permit working in my neighborhood? They can go out there to one site. Right now they have to go to multiple areas to see that. If they want to know how many permits are going through, they can actually query that. And so what I really enjoy as a data person, as an analytical person, I like the fact that I can query almost anything. I can see how many solar panel permits have come through, what's happening in my neighborhood. I can see what type of electrical permits. And so again, I think that part of it is the part that intrigues me, and I'm excited about being in the city 30 plus years. This is a leapfrog compared to what we've been doing. I was part of the initial implementation of policy when we did that in 2003 and 2004. And so that was a leapfrog, but we're way overdue for this. And so that's why I'm excited about this. And we're looking at making sure that it has the AI capabilities to connect. So we did that. We baked that in there. And so Acela has dedicated to making sure that they're looking at some of our inquiries related to that. Maybe what is my zoning, and can I figure it out? Does this meet my setback rules and so forth? We're also trying to connect that with our call center, where folks can get an answer without having to wait on a call attendant and determine what their next step is in the permitting process. And so the future looks bright. This is really, if I was looking at a staircase that had 10 stairs, this is really the first or second staircase, and that's opening up wide in how we do permitting moving forward. So yeah, that's my spin. I had the wonderful privilege of working with Zyda as a building official many moons ago. So I feel like my career has come full circle. Are there any questions out there? Out there in the web world? No questions, no inquiries.
They have to post on the chat or the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for that delay. My name is Celine Alvarez. I am a senior plans examiner with the DallasNow team. As Jason mentioned, we've been working. Let me get this kind of toward What I'm gonna be doing today is basically, walking you through navigating the Dallas Now Citizen Portal. Trying to get you familiar before we go live. With, Jason mentioned. Um, Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off going, as you can see, I am already logged in. Dallas Now, system is, web-based. So anyone would be able to access this through the cloud. I am again logged in already. This would be our homepage once you're logged in. The first thing come May 5th that, everyone should do is create, an online account. This can be contractors, this can be applicants, any citizen. Access information. Again, this is your homepage. I'm gonna kind of walk through what's available here in this homepage, or what I would call the dashboard. In our dashboard, we have what is our save in card, my collections, and then if you scroll a little bit down, we have our working progress. So our saved in card is basically, we're adding multiple records. You guys will use the same records a lot. That's basically a new transfer coming for application. So again, here you have the ability to save multiple records that you're applying for, and then pay. Right? So that would be the option that you have available here within the same, right? Then you have the My Collections. My Collections is basically where an account holder can organize their projects. All the records that they applied for, or that they've been listed under as a contact type, or even a contractor. Anything listed under with their account information would be listed within this account. And here in the My Collections, they can kind of put them in folders. If you can see, I have 3 currently. I have one for just commercial records in general. I have one for plumbing records, and then I have one specifically for an address, right? So it can be you can be named anything. Let's organize it however you can.
Please,
Pick up. Okay, I'm gonna try standing on this side. Maybe.
Yes.
All right, can you guys hear me a little better if I stand here on this side? Perfect. All right, I apologize for that. All right, so yeah, as you can see, we do have again the collections. Just gonna repeat that again. We do have this is a way for the customers to kind of organize themselves. Okay. All right. Hope this is better for you guys. All right. So yeah. So again, the collections again is a way to organize your projects. Then we have our work in progress. The bottom table here, or the bottom square box here. Here is, for example, you start an application. You're having to do something else or take care of something else. So what you do is you do have the option within every single application, within every single page of the application, to you have a button at the bottom of every page that allows you to save and continue later. What that does, it will create a temporary record ID number in order for you to then go back into it before you submit. Okay. So that's basically what the work in progress. What you'll see is it would be a temporary number, which is it'll start with the year, which is 25, followed by TMP, and then a sequential number. So basically what that's doing is it's not creating an actual record number until it's submitted, right? So it's giving us a temporary number until it's submitted. Okay, any questions related to the dashboard or the homepage? Okay, all right, so moving on, what we're gonna do is gonna scroll back up. We're gonna go ahead and talk about what is the top line that you see here. We have the different modules that would be available within this system. And so we have, for example, we have our building module. Can anybody tell me what they think would fall under this module? what type of records or what type of applications do you guys think would fall under this particular tab? Building permits, correct. You have your new construction permits, your building permits, your fences, et cetera. Okay, if we, let's go ahead and click in there so that we can see what type of applications are available. All right, so what we're doing is we're creating an application for it to then kind of give us a list of what's available under this module type. Okay, this general disclaimer is across the board. Every single one of our records does have this disclaimer that would have to be accepted before it allows you to move forward in beginning your application. All right, this section, you have the select a license. Once a customer creates an account, this again also allows you to have your contractor registration associated with your account. So this section populates if there's already once there's an account created for a registration. So what we're gonna do is just to kind of get us bypassed to that. You do have the option, as you can see, I'm a contractor for a lot of type of trades, right? But we're gonna go ahead and select not applicable for now. And yeah, continue our application. Okay, so here we are at the section where it asks us what record type we're wanting to submit. We have the commercial permits, residential permits, other building permits, and building requests. Under the commercial drop-down list, we do have, again, it's being specific to commercial. You have your commercial accessory structure. As you can see next to that particular record application, you do have some help text. That, for example, for this particular one, it's informing you that this accessory structure application is for fences and retaining walls. Okay. It took us a while to kind of get the term down, because if one hears accessory structure, we'll probably think of like an addition or something additional to the property, right? But again, it does provide you help text that can give you more information on that record type. And you would see this throughout applications themselves as well, particular custom fields. It's just information for you to have to understand, get a better understanding of what that means or what that field stands for. Again, you have your commercial alteration additions, your backup generators, you have your roofing, your solar, again, specific to whether it's commercial or residential. So if we look at the residential permits drop down, you see basically the same with the exception of maybe one or two. But again, it's specific to residential. And again, you have your help text to tell you what the accessory structure permit is for. All right, then we have your other building permits. Under this category, you do have your access control, your signs, your liquor license, alcohol measurements. Then you have some more help text next to the fire prevention, fire specialty. It gives you an idea of what type of applications can be submitted under this particular record application. Okay. Under building requests, you have address assignment change. You have the appeal. You have parking agreement. Again, you have help text for each one of those or some of those application types. Just to give you an idea of what kind of applications are available under what is our building module. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to show you what's available under the next module, which is the planning module. Who can tell me what they think this module consists of? What kind of applications? So this would be for our current planning team, our subdivision team, conservation and historic. Okay. And we're going to just kind of go past this disclaimer here just to get you there. We've already seen this information. Again, if you have any registration licenses that we call now, it kind of prompt you if you want to use that as for your application. All right, so we are within the planning module. These are the applications available under that particular module. So for example, you have your certificate of appropriateness, which is for a historic district, your conservation district work certificate for conservation. You have your, under current planning, you have your miscellaneous zoning, your zoning cases, your postponement. And then under subdivision, you have your plat and your street name change and ceremonial street topper. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next one. So this next module, we have the enforcement module. This particular module is available, the record itself, which consists is one record only, which is our building complaint. This record is for internal use only. I know you're seeing currently some listed here under my particular module tab. The reason being is once a record is created internally, again, this is created by internal staff. This could be created by our inspectors, also by the Salesforce system from 311. Any building complaints that come in, it will automatically create a record with information. Okay. Again, the building complaint application, once that is created internally, what will happen is if any contact type of individual listed will have access to see the information. So under this particular record type, it's optional to add a contact. And again, if one is added, then that individual, if they have an account with the citizen portal, they'll be able to see that information. Okay. Any questions so far between these three modules that we've gone over? No? Okay. All right. So moving on to the next the next module, we have the contractor registration, or as we call them now, licensed professionals. You'll hear both terms. That's basically what we're talking about. So contractor registrations, you have your general contractors, you have your paving contractors, your bonded contractors. They'll all be able to get registered through this particular module. All right, so we're looking at the chat here. Okay.
Questions about Stephanie.
That would work.
Yes, Stephanie, if you wanna ask questions on the building module, go ahead.
And go ahead and answer that question about the building complaints. Can the public see?
So Stephanie, to answer your question related to the building complaints, again, as mentioned earlier, once the contact type is listed on that particular record, they are able to see that. Now, related to the public, once an account, so I'm gonna go back a little bit. Anyone can create an account within the citizen portal. You are limited to certain things. You can also you can also view certain information if you don't have an account with the citizen portal. So I don't know if anyone is familiar with our Develop Dallas website, basically used for inspections for our contractors, kind of see the statuses and results of their inspections. It's basically similar to that. You don't have to necessarily log in to view information, but you will be limited to the information available, depending on if you're registered for an account or not. I hope that answers your question. And then she's asking on the building module on PDocs, we would submit a master building permit, and it included multiple forms under it. I'm sorry. I see the CO is listed separately. Do we multiple forms? Or do you submit multiple forms at the same time? So you would be able to submit more than one application. When it comes to master building permit, you'll hear us, and I'll go over that a little bit once we go over the navigation of the citizen portal. But you do have what we call them now parents. We have our primary records, and then you have your children, or what is as you're mentioning, like your trade applications, right? Okay. All right, another question that we have is, will all previously submitted applications also be listed in this portal? Alexis, yes. So right now, as Jason mentioned, we are getting everything converted over. Anything that's currently active in our current land management system is being converted into this new land management system.
But there will not be historic records if it's not active. If it's something that's been completed or issued. The question was even from years ago.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry. So yes, depending on so currently active, and then also if there's anything that's just, as Vernon mentioned, thank you, Vernon, anything older that's already been issued and closed out, that will not be transferred over. Now, our current land management system will be in a read-only stage. where you will be able to request in open records and obtain the information needed. Stephanie asked if it's by currently active, do you mean permits is reviewed and approved or currently under construction? So currently active is if the permit is still, it has been issued and in inspection phase. Or in review, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move along. Again, we're currently in the contractor registration tab or module. Within this particular module, it would be consist of, again, registration types, your general contractor registration, your paving, your bonded contractor, your master electrician, your master plumber, etc. Okay. Click on contractor registration. All right, so as you can see here, I do have some registrations already activated for under my account. I have some general contractors. As you see here, so our registrations moving forward come May 5th will consist of TL, which stands for transactional license, followed by what type of registration it is. So for example, GC would be your general contractor, and then followed by a sequential number. Another one you see here is PVC, which again, that stands for paving contractor, and it does give you the name of the actual registration. Okay. Any individuals that already have an existing registration, those accounts will be, or those registrations will be transferred into the new system as is. So you will still be using your BUs, your PVs, your PO registrations. You'll be using the same exact number. What'll have to happen is once you, so again, as mentioned at the beginning, once May 5th comes, you will have to create an account. Every single individual that wants to access the system will need to create an account. And then there is a process to connecting or viewing the projects listed under that particular registration that's currently active. And I'll go through that here in a second once we get there, okay? All right, so again, these are our general or contractor registration module. Moving along to the next one, we have our public works. Our public works module consists of our engineering applications or submittals. That consists of what is your escarpment, your water, wastewater engineering submittal. You have your paving and drainage and your water, wastewater service request. Okay. Which is just 4. And last but not least, we do have one more module, which is our administrative module. This one also is for internal use only. This is basically what we have is one record that is for our fee collection. So anything that's not associated with a particular record or any miscellaneous transaction that gets done, this would be the record that we would create in order for the customer to be able to make the payment. Okay. Any questions related to any of the modules? We want to see the chat if they have anything as well. That's the same one. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward then. Again, we've talked about the modules. Now we're gonna want to go over the next line that's below what is our modules. So we're gonna just want to go home. Okay. Back when we select home, then it takes us back to our homepage. If you scroll up again, Clinton, I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about the light blue line that we see here. We have again our dashboard, which is when we first log in, that's basically where it takes us. Okay, and then we have my records. Who can tell me what they think my records are? Correct. So anything that I've applied for, anything that I've been listed as who can tell me what? An applicant? Correct. A contractor, any contact type. So once an applicant submits their record, they do have a section where they add additional contacts. Let's say you're your engineer, your architect, your authorized agent, in this case, like consultations, consultants, et cetera. So anybody listed underneath the record would be able to see them under their My Records, right? Okay, and as you can see here under My Records, it does divide them by the module type. So we click the drop down for the building. It's going to show me every single record that, again, either I've applied for personally or I've been listed as a contact type under. Okay, you have your fire, you have your residential roof, I'm sorry, residential demos. And again, it does list you, it gives you the name of that particular record. And it does give you also the status. Okay. And then it also gives you an action section, which is if you want to provide an update. So what this option is basically when it's still, for example, here in review, to provide an update would be if you're wanting to submit for an addendum or as we call now, an amendment. Okay. And as you can see for this particular what record type was this? Roof. So here you have the option as an amendment would be to change the licensed profession if you're going to change your contractor. And then it also gives you the opportunity or the option to change your contact. Because it's a re-roof permit, it's not going to allow you to change scope because it would require a new permit. So yeah, so it would be associated with the type of record, what options are available. Okay, so as you see here also in the actions section, it does give you a pay fees option. What that'll do is it's basically notifying you that there's fees pending to be made for that particular record. Okay. It allows you to go directly into that payment. Okay. Or you can also go into the particular record and you have a payments tab as well, or section where you can make the payment. Okay. So again, it gives you the different records by the module type. It does list them for going down. If you could scroll back up, and then you also have what is My Account. Okay, so My Account is basically your account management, your settings, right? Which is also available up here on top. So if you were to select here, it's going to take you to the exact same place. Okay, under this My Account, it gives you the account type, which you have a licensed professional account. You have your logging information. You have your license information section, which as you can see, all my registrations are available or listed here. So in this particular section, this is where I was mentioned to you a moment ago, connecting an existing registration to your DallasNow account. What you do is next to license information, you see add a license. You go ahead and select that. Okay, where it'll ask you what type of license you're wanting to basically merge into your new account. And then it gives you the options for the type of registrations. And then what you have to do is you have to provide the registration number. This registration number, again, you have your BU followed by 6 digits or your registration type followed by 6. Yes, ma'am.
So our architects, we're gonna ask architect license
Not architect.
necessary.
Yeah, so you guys would probably, if anything, and if applicable, would probably use the general registration, the general contractor. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So yeah, so once you get to the registration number field, it's asking for that BU number or that EL number if you're a master electrician. With the information being converted from our old system, there is additional digits or additional information added onto that particular number. It will require you to submit the whole number, right? How you would obtain that is you would have to get in contact with our call center in order for you to obtain that actual extended number or registration number. Okay. What'll happen then once you submit this information, you would do find license, and that's basically sending a request. That request will have to be received by city staff in order for them to process. So what they're doing is they're needing to confirm that the person requesting this, that their information matches the responsible individual under that particular registration type. Okay, before it can get approved. If not, then what will happen is they will reach out and they will inform you, hey, we need this individual or that needs to get updated before we can merge it or connect it to this particular account. Okay. Any questions related to that?
I had a similar question.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Stephanie? Okay, Stephanie. Um, so she's asking, does this mean, so I appreciate that anyone who is a part of the application can have a login and see the application. Does this mean that now I can handle the application and submit the owner can log in and pay on their own without them having to tell me their credit card information? So Stephanie, that is yes. The applicant, anyone listed under the record as an applicant or a contact type, meaning property owner, architect, engineer, etc. Anyone listed under that registration, I'm not sorry, under that particular record would be able to make the payment. So every contact type listed under that application or record would be able to, or would get an email notification throughout the process from start to finish. For payments, for inspections, for review information, or if they're needing additional information, all those contact types along with the applicant would receive the information. Yes, ma'am.
Question on that. I use the Excel system in other jurisdictions that I deal with.
Okay.
And I have not been the applicant or listed on it, and I can still pay fees for a particular address if I look it up and I know the permit number. Is that gonna be the same here?
Oh, not being listed as any contact?
It was a right-of-way permit that was a part of the overall building permit that we submitted for, so I was not the applicant, I was not listed as a contact, but I can still go in there and pay fees because that was just quicker to get it done. I didn't know if that would be an
Okay.
option here.
So maybe because, and we'll get into it here, maybe you were added as a delegate, or maybe you were a delegate, no? Not even? I don't think I've ever, yeah. We're gonna have to find that out for you. I hope not, but I don't think anyone wants to just make a payment
My
for.
guess, it was helpful, but it might have a process. True.
So yeah, so Stephanie, I hope that answers your question, and it will, tell me your name, I'm sorry.
Voice.
Joyce. And Joyce asked a good question. She mentioned that she works with the seller for another jurisdiction, but is able to make a payment for a record that she's not listed under, right?
For all intents and purposes, I'm not associated with it.
Yeah, so
They
she's
haven't added
not
fees.
being associated with the record in any form or way. So Joyce, we'll confirm if that's possible. I've never even, yeah. I hope not, but all right, so okay, moving along. Aside from my account, we do have what is the advanced search. The advanced search is again, just like for those that are familiar with our Develop Dallas website. When you're even if you don't have an account, there is certain information you're able to look up. Of course, the information would be limited. This is basically what would be available for those individuals that are not actually logged in under an account or registered with an account. Okay, so you have your lookup property information. You have your searching by licensee, search for a licensee, I'm sorry, search records or applications, and then it breaks it down to what module type. Okay, so just for this more for pulling information, right? All right, so I think that would kind of cover the whole what is the navigation of the citizen portal. Anybody have any questions?
Search records applications, is that only for ones that you're connected to, or is it everything?
This would be everything.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So if you're curious to see if a particular address has any records submitted, this would be where you would search.
We do a lot of
Okay.
renovations and we can never find like old permits. What construction type was it listed as?
Yeah, so, and with that being said, as we mentioned, Vernon mentioned a little moment ago, it's, we are converting all, I think it's going back to 2020. Anything for 2020, for seals, it is going back to 2010. Anything prior to that, it would be requesting open records. Okay, yes, sir.
Going back towards sort of multiple parties on one application, are there any sort of customizable permissions that the initial applicant can enforce, maintain for security purposes?
Yes, tell me your name, sir.
Charles Grand?
Charles, good question, Charles. He asked a very, very good question, which I did forget to mention. That would be delegates. So, and you know, because I went into the registration, I kind of skipped that. Thank you for that question. So yes, so delegates, basically, currently we do have members to contractor registrations. What'll happen moving forward come May 5th is now we are assigning, or an account holder can assign, delegates to their account. So what delegates does is it gives them, or it allows them to do certain, or have certain access. It allows them to submit certain type of records, make payments, set up inspections, etc. Anything here, as you see here, they can create applications, renew records, amend records, manage inspections, manage documents, and make payments. So with the delegate, you can be as specific as to what record type you want them to submit. If it's just one, so I just want, let's say, for example, Clinton. I want Clinton to, I'm adding him as a delegate, but I only want him to be able to submit commercial new construction applications, right, or records. So I would just be selecting here. So creating applications, and then you would change the categories, where again, you can be as specific as to what record type. Okay. Another thing that it allows them, again, is the inspections. You are also able to become a delegate for another person's account. So just like I'm giving Clinton the access to be able to submit these application types for me, he can allow me the same access. Okay. So moving forward, come May 5th, what will happen is we are no longer listing members under a registration. What will happen is the account holder will be assigning those delegates themselves. And this can happen at any point in time. They'll just log into their account and add those persons as delegates. Now, the thing is with delegates, that individual that they're wanting to add would have to have an account created before they can be added. So, because as you can see, it asks for the name and then it asks for an email address. So if the email address is not a registered account or does not have an account under the DallasNow Citizen Portal, they will not be able to connect them as a delegate.
And so that's why it was interesting that you were saying that you could make a payment with anyone, because in the past we've had accounting issues with that. Someone said, "Oh, I made a payment on the wrong one. I thought it was this one." There's 3 or 4 projects at that site, and so that's interesting. And we specifically asked for it to be limitation, but we will check. And this is a prime example of what the delegate permissions are limited to.
Maybe because I don't know, it was a project at the same address going on at the same time. I really don't know the specifics. I just know I was able to pay it.
And we'll look into it, because that is, I mean, that is questionable, right? But yes, so yeah, again, the delegates, you allow them to have the access that you want them to, basically. Okay. So come May 5th, we are no longer again going to be associating members into those accounts. You, as the account holder, can add and remove at any point in time, just like the delegates that are under your account can remove themselves from there as well. Okay. All right, let's see. So Stephanie has some questions. Is there going to be a person or email address to contact when this goes live next week and we come across problems? Stephanie, so we will be available for any questions or any concerns that you have. If you walk into our office, we also have our call center trained with the system, I'm sorry, to answer any of your questions. Again, this is a brand new system for all of us. There's still, we still got to kind of get used to it and see the things that it can do for us. We may not be familiar with exactly everything, but we will work with you to figure out or the questions or the issues that you may have. And then she also asked, is the delegate set up per project or per account? So the delegates are per the account, but again, you can assign them to particular record types. Or even by module, not just types, but even by module, or just you can give them all the access. That would be up to you. And then, so yes, the call center would be our yes, the 214-948-4480, which is our ACMA call center. Yes, ma'am. All right. So anybody have any questions related to delegates? No. Anybody in the chat or anybody
And so as far as questions or inquiries as we go live. So the call center will be our main point. Then there will be subject matter experts in the call center. We'll have live folks in our main permit center. If the subject matter expert cannot answer that, then it'll go to one of our core team members. If they can't answer that, then it'll go to the lead project managers, Kevin and Irma, and then it'll escalate to Jason and myself. And so we've kind of baked in a level. And so part of the reason for that is to learn the system as we go. If we get 40 calls about I can't log in, then we can understand what's going on. And rather than having one person call over here and one person call over there, not understand that it's a more dynamic issue. And so we think we have a handle on it. But again, this is a tremendous lift for us. I was telling Zada how nervous and excited I am about this at the same time. But I think we have a great core group. The development community has been extremely supportive. And so I'm ready to get this party started.
All right.
So there's something that come May 5th, the most important thing you can do as a applicant, consultant, contractor, subcontractor is create a new account. And when you create that account, please use the existing email address you have currently registered with the city of Dallas. That should link all of your existing records to your new account. If for some reason, if there's any issues with that, please reach out to us. As far as Celine said earlier, if you're a contractor, once you create that account, then you can go to my account and then add that license, and then staff will do that precursor review to make sure it's the correct personnel getting that registration link to their account.
Any other questions? This may be a little too in the weeds, but I know right now under Project Docs, y'all have us submit sheets individually. Is that how it's gonna be? The Excel system, or is it gonna be now a combined set? I've done both ways, so I was just curious.
So as of now, we do want to follow the same procedures, when it comes to submitting. If things change, then you will be informed by the department.
So there was a strategic decision not to change too many things at once. That way, if something was broke, we would be able to fact find it. We know that name in it and things. And so we have heard from the development community that there is a desire to be able to submit one package and have it come in. And again, with as many snafus as we had with PDOCs, we're concerned about making any changes, but we would like to explore that possibility. And again, remember, this is really phase one. We look at growing the system and looking at all options, but we have heard from the development community there is a desire. And again, because we haven't done that, we're not, as a municipality, the concern is I asked you to change the electrical sheet and then all of a sudden you have to resubmit and how the staff look at it. I'm not sure what other municipalities do.
Goes back, so when you're in the review process, sorry.
No, go ahead. We want to learn. This is a learning session for us also. Go ahead.
When you're in the review process, it will only go back to those specific reviewers who have comments. But at the end, when all reviewers have approved the plans, it drops back to everybody, so everybody checks it, just to make sure that you didn't change something on one of their sheets that wasn't a part of their comment, and so it goes back through them all for a final stamp off before anything's issued.
I have learned something new today, and that's what I love about this job. I think that was one of the primary reasons we opted to go with the single sheets, because of the pure volume that we have. If every time our plan reviewers, zoning, building code, have to look at something because of electrical plan review, it would stop the system. We want it to be, once building code or zoning has signed off, if there's nothing that they have to look at, our volume. So when I hear about the timelines and the things that happen, if people understood the volume of permits that come to the city, Dallas is amazing. I love it. I will probably get bored at another city, but this is what we do. Great point, though. Thank you.
All right, so we do have two other questions here on the chat. Does this impact any of the submittal required document, checklist, and forms, or do they remain the same? To answer that for Alexis, everything again, the submittal process would be the same. The only thing changing is the way you're submitting. No.
No application.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, with the exception of you're not submitting anything in paper. Right. So one headache from, Stephanie says, one headache from Project Docs was having to fill out the web form for all the information and then also submitting PDFs of signed forms with all the same information. Is it the same now? Can we walk through submitting a project so we can see all the steps? So what we can do, we can walk through one of our records so you can to give you an idea of what information is being asked. Again, these records are specific to the record type. You don't have just a general application like you currently do now. And again, yeah.
Do you have one that's like a building permit application that you could walk us?
Yes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do that for you guys. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna submit a building under the building module. Go ahead and create your application. You have again your disclaimer. You guys will all see this once you submit your first application. Selecting our license, we're gonna do not applicable. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and select our commercial. We're gonna do you pick. Which one do you?
New construction.
New construction. All right, so commercial new construction. This is one of our more complex applications.
Why we need your help.
The most common, yes. All right, so within the application, you have again your first section, and it may change depending on the record application or the type. This one is starting off with the contact list. So as you can see here, it does list what type of contacts are required. So we do require a minimum of one applicant and one property owner. You can add additional ones, but the ones that would allow you to move forward, you'd have to provide an applicant and a property owner at least. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna select from my account. I'm gonna put myself as both the applicant and the property owner, just for time's sake. Okay, so it's asking me for the contact name and the contact type. I'm gonna list myself again as the applicant, and then it automatically selects your mailing address. Depending on the contact type, will determine if you need to provide just the mailing address or mailing and business. Okay, so. Okay. And again, we need a property owner aside from an applicant. And these are the other two contact types. We have authorized agent or a design professional. So aside from, and again, these are all specific to the record type. Okay, so we have our applicant and we have our contact. As you can see, you see the green arrow, it kind of confirms that you've provided the minimum required information for that section. Then we have our primary contractor. So for commercial new and commercial alteration addition records, it does not require for you to submit a contract or general contractor at submittal. Every other record would. The only exception would be the commercial new and the commercial alteration addition applications. Okay, but for right now, what we're gonna do, we are gonna add one. I'm gonna go ahead and select from my account because as you saw earlier, I do have some registrations in there. Okay, so what it's gonna do, it's gonna actually list any active registrations. So our customers will be able to go in there and select the account based on if the account is active. So they're either searching by a TL number or again, a BU number. If the registration is active, it will be listed. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna look up by the license type. So as you can see here, these are our converted registrations. Remember I mentioned that it's an extended number. You would have to provide all this number in order to get those merged into your account, your DallasNow account. So we're gonna select our registration. Okay, and as you see here, again, you have your checkbox, your check mark stating that you've provided the information. We're gonna do, it also allows you to provide subcontractor information. When it comes to subcontractors, your MEP, trade contractors, once the permit is issued, they would be required to apply for their trade permit applications. So if you were to list them as a subcontractor under your application, they would still have to go in there and apply for that record for the trade. Let's say, for example, your electrical contractor would apply for their electrical trade permit to then be connected to this project. Okay. All right. So Stephanie has a question. So can I just pick a GC on the application from the dropdown without a GC knowing? Or do they have to accept it? The answer to your question, Stephanie, is yes. They are able to add any active registration in the system. What it'll do is at the moment that the application is submitted, that contractor listed will be notified. If they are not related or associated with the project in any form or way, they could request to be removed from the application. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and continue. As this section here, the subcontractors is not required.
You have to have a contractor?
Not in this. So for the primary or the main contractor and then the subcontractors for this particular record type are not required for submittal. All right, so we go into the next step of the application. We have our application information, which takes us to our address. The address section, we do requires you to submit. You'd be typing in a street number and a street name. So currently, for those that are familiar with our current system, you're wanting to provide us the street number and the street name without direction, or whether it be north, south, or whether it be street or anything. You want to do it. You want to provide some information, but not too much information because it'll be specific. So for example, we're going to search for 71 Bird. So it's going to search anything with the name Bird, street name, right?
And as we said, they're currently working and migrating on the system, so as far as possibly working through an entire application, we may not be able to, just because they are in the background working and merging everything over.
We do have a full walkthrough of a commercial new permit from a customer side, a video that we'll be posting on the DallasNow public page. And it'll show step by step all the way through the commercial new process. They're finalizing that video as we speak, so it should be up this week.
All right. So for those with us online, I don't know if you guys heard Jason, but we will be having a video or a walkthrough video of submitting an application. In this case, it would be a commercial new, right? You mentioned from start to finish. Okay. Okay, so we were able to locate, this address does exist in our system. If at any point when submitting an application, the address is not found, or an address needs to be created, we do have a record for that as well. It would be under the building module. It would be the address assignment or change. Okay. So we do have our address here generated. What happened is if there's parcel and owner information associated with that, it'll auto-populate that. Now, if there's multiple parcels, multiple owners, then you'll be making your selection within the options available. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we've already pre-filled that information in for us. We're gonna go ahead and continue. All right, the next step would be our description or our description of work, I'm sorry. What is it that we're doing? What kind of new construction are we doing? That information would be provided here. This section here, the description of work is or is listed or shown in the majority of our records. Okay. And you can be as detailed as you need to. All right. Once we have our detailed description, the next section we have is the project details. So this is again where it gets specific to the record type. So it's not going to be your general square footage valuation. It's asking questions related to a new construction. Okay, so it asks us for the type of work. We're doing commercial, commercial shell, I'm sorry. First time finish out or multifamily. Again, because this is a commercial new construction, the types of work options are related to commercial. Okay, the next question that we see on top is this a phased project? So this question here is only listed or available within the commercial alteration addition record applications, because these are the only two records that can be phased out. Okay, by phased out, it can be by either floors, by building numbers, sections, etc. If yes is selected to this particular question, it does prompt up another text box where you're giving us a description of how you want that phased out. Okay. All right, and then you have again your dwelling. It does separate the square footage and valuation from dwelling and non-dwelling for our multi-use properties or construction. It does allow you to separate the two. Okay, what it'll do is if you don't have any dwelling or you don't have any non-dwelling, you just basically you have to type in something. They are required fields, so you just be typing in a 0. Okay, what it does is once you have those fields filled in, it'll auto sum up the total of the cost and the square footage. So you just basically fill in the first 4 fields, and then it'll total out the bottom. One type. Oh, okay. So Stephanie is asking, will the city require each floor to be permitted separately as a phase? I've had that be required before.
So basically, however you want to phase out for your inspections. If you want to do 2 floors for one inspection, you can do 2 floors as a phase. If you want to break it out per floor, you can do that as a phase. Or let's say you have a large multifamily and you're breaking it up into different fire areas, you can break it up that way. Basically the same that we do it now is we'll continue that same business process.
And then Alexis is asking, does phasing apply to actual construction over time or phase to provide individual permits per floor?
So again, that kind of follows along with Stephanie's question. Would be how you want to do it for inspection purposes.
So for an example, like on a hotel where you're doing a renovation, you have multiple floors and you want to turn over each floor as you're done, would it be a separate permit for floor, or would it be kind of like, I think on your master permits entry form, you would have list each one of them is what we do on the Excel spreadsheet, and it would just be first floor, second floor, third floor, and then it would.
Right. So if it's all underneath one project and you're going to be working on it concurrently, it would be one building project, and then you could do
Phasing for like a TCO, each floor, whatever, to occupy it as you move to the next floor.
So yeah, so if you break it down per floor in that instance, in that specific scenario, once you get done with floor 1, you can apply for TCO, as long as that project or that particular phase is in inspection status, you can still apply for TCO. And then if you have it broken down, say you're doing 5 floors, 5 different master permits, right? Or 5 phases, you could do a TCO per floor.
And then Alexis is also asking, in previously submitted permits, the city separated the floors phases for permits. We did not have to. So again, you can provide us with, if you're wanting it specifically phased out a certain way, or we would do it for you as well. Of course, you would see how that is broken down, and if there's changes prior to us finishing that out, then that can be done as well. Okay. All right, so we're just filling in the required fields to allow us to move forward. All right, so moving on, we have, once we're putting our square footages and our evaluation, it asks us to provide the proposed land use. It gives us the land use categories, so it's kind of giving us the option of selecting from what type of uses. And then once you make that selection, it will generate the proposed land use, so it's more specific to that use type. So we're selecting the office category, office uses, and then it breaks it down further to, is it an alternative, a financial establishment, financial institution, medical clinic, or an office? Okay. Then we have some fields that are not required, but the more information you provide, the better. Again, these are all associated with what would be a new commercial construction. If you were to apply for a residential, you may not see half of these questions, right? Because they're not associated with that. Okay, so other questions that it does list is, for example, are you utilizing mixed income housing bonuses? Are you adding a fire alarm, a fire sprinkler, elevator? Has there been a demolition on this site? If yes, then it prompts up another text box where you're providing that demolition record number or permit number. Okay, another required field is, does this require any special inspections? Some of these questions you guys may not know, right, at submittal. If that's the case, again, it's requiring you to answer yes or no, or answer the fields. This, again, will go through a pre-screen. So any information or any questions that you may answer incorrectly, or for example, like, if it requires special inspections, our reviewers more than likely would be able to tell you yes or no. If you're selecting no and it's yes, then that can be updated to the correct answer. Okay, and as you can see here, you do have some fields that have help text, provide you a little more information on what's being asked or why it's being asked. For example, for this, the question, are you planning triggered this additional field? And it's asking for a subdivision plat number. And then it gives you the help text. If prior to March 1st, 2025, the plat number will begin in the format S, etc. Okay. And then you have questions related to your to food and drink establishment. Again, some of these fields do have or generate additional sections within the application, again, depending on what you're answering within these fields. They could also be triggering additional documents. For example, you have, is a proposed use a doctor, dentist, or medical health clinic? And then you have some help text that informs you you're supposed to provide what is the ambulatory care facility form. Okay, so depending on your responses or your answers to the fields, would determine if there's addition or documents that would be triggered at the end of the application, or if there are additional sections with more questions related to your answer. Okay. The project details section, the part 2, you have your district information, if it falls in a historic or conservation district. If you don't know, you can always put not applicable. That again, it's pre-screened and researched. If the answer is one of the two, then that'll be updated and additional information would be required. All right, so the part 4 of the trades basically is are you adding additional trades to this application? If you answer yes, what'll happen is it'll trigger the selection of any trades that you want to associate with this project. And you would have to provide a yes or no to each one. Okay, and Stephanie has a question in the chat. Can the phases be changed in the future if a GC wants to create more phases? Yes, Stephanie. You can add additional ones. So the trades is basically what is your trade permits, like your mechanical, electrical, plumbing that would be associated with this. Certain ones require additional applications to be submitted. For example, your electrical, plumbing, mechanical, your fire alarm system, they submit their own, their own application. That's basically you're listing them that as a required before this can be finalized out, right? You need
Yeah, you may not know some of them, just make.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. And again, if you want to add some in the future or during the review, you'd be submitting that amendment. All right. Alexis is asking who updates the correct answer. Do we online or do we have to call in? So Alexis, if there's something that you notice that you've added incorrect or submitted incorrectly, you would have to contact us in order for us to update that. Or if there's something that we come across that we feel is not correct, or if, for example, like the whole conservation historic district question, if that was answered as a not applicable, and we find out once we research the zoning for it that it is, we'll update that information automatically. Okay.
Like an email saying. It's automatically up.
What do you mean? Like
Like if the goes to the pre-screening and they're like, oh, it actually is a conservation. Get an email as the applicant saying that it was updated.
when information is updated, no. We are able to update or create a new report showing what information was changed, but that would not be notified to. I don't think it'll notify the applicants or the contacts.
Question though,
Yeah.
That might be
I would like to know if something, the square footage, yeah. The question.
You guys will be changing that on your end, because I know previously, like on ones that I've been through with Excella, during the intake, it kicks it back to me saying, you need to provide this, or this.
When it comes to like the text or the fields,
Yeah, like if there was something I submitted, it
Mhm.
got kicked back to me saying this wasn't provided or whatever during the initial.
Right, and again, I go back to that, the sheer volume that we get, if it's something simple like that, there's no need to kick it back to the customer. If it's something we notice and it's just a slight overlook now, if there's a SUP required, the zoning doesn't allow it, then that will be in denial status. But if it's just some, an error made, or we look at the square footage and we say, you put 1,000 and we recognize it's 10,000, 1 0 left off, we'll keep it moving.
good question. All right, and then Stephanie is asking if it is a deferred submittal, such as fire alarm, do you check it now or not?
So the answer to that, if you know if you're putting in a fire alarm and a fire sprinkler system, answer yes at the submittal. Like you would currently now, you let us know what trade, what type of work you're doing, the scope of work. So yes, you want to do that now. Now, however, you are correct. It will be a separate or deferred submittal that your fire contractor would apply for. And that goes through submittal, pre-screen, plan review, and then once that's done, your fire contractor can validate underneath the associated phases with that. Just go back real quick to your other question, Stephanie, about the phases and changing it in the future. The way DallasNow, the new system is, we don't actually create the number of phases until we are ready to issue the permit. Currently, we set that up when we're creating the project, but in DallasNow, we will actually create those phases once we're ready to issue the permit. once you pay your permit fees. And I do want to bring it up, fees. So in order to get your application submitted, you do have to pay a $15 technology fee to submit the application. Once it goes through pre-screen and the pre-screen staff decides everything is acceptable to take it in, at that point, you'll pay the plan review fee. Then once we go through the review cycle and we're ready to issue it, that's when you'll pay your actual permit fee or your PD fee, deed restriction fee, SUP fee, stuff like that. Then once you pay those final permit fees, that's when we'll create the phases. But we can change that in the future if need be.
Plan review.
The minimum plan review fee currently is $577. It does, if it over a certain threshold for square footages or construction costs, it does go up from there.
The owner can still log in and pay the fee.
I know currently how we've been testing it, if it's a delegate, yes, but I think Jason found something.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can make payments. So
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we found out based on the conversation here. We got to meet with you guys again next week. We found out based on the conversation that, yeah, if you have a login and you have
no,
information.
you don't even need a login.
Okay, you can just go in and if you feel like charity and paying people's fees, you can. We found out today, we thought you had to be a delegate. And so, again, you guys are a pure witness who will be learning the system as we go along, but anyone can pay. And to kind of piggyback on something Clinton said, so there'll be 3 times that fees are paid. There'll be the initial submittal, which is the $15 technology fee. There'll be a plan review fee based on the square footage of the location, minimum 577. I think the threshold is around 7,000, 9,000 square foot, and then there's the actual permit fee. Currently, we pay the permit, you pay everything up front. Well, we found that nightmarish if there's a refund, if they change their mind on the permit, now we have to pay a refund on a permit that was never issued. Moving forward, you will not pay the permit fee until the permit has been approved and is ready to.
And then Stephanie, you have another question. So even though the question about phases is asked at the beginning, they aren't assigned until the end. That is correct. Will we be asked to confirm the number of phases at this time? So the question is yes, give us how you plan on doing it, how you want to phase it out. We know that things do change. So creating the phases at the end does give us some time. Once you have your GC contacted for this and entered, at that time you should have a general idea of how the GC may say, hey, we need to actually break this out further, or we can actually take these 2 phases and make it one. You can let us know at that time and we can make those adjustments. But yes, you do want to, if you can, give us how you plan on phasing that particular project out at that time of submittal.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get you to complete the application. We are running short on time. But yeah, again, we have our custom fields, or our questions are related, associated to the particular record type. Moving from there, the next section that is prompt is our review request, type of request that you want. The 2 options that you have available is a standard review or our Q team review. And again, for the Q team, it's express review. There are fees associated with that. Okay, if you pick standard review, it does allow you for additional option of expediting 1 plan review or 1 trade review. If you select yes, it's informing you there is a $500 cost, and you select what trade you want to expedite. All right, so we have the next section populated is the attachments. So again, based on the questions that were answered, are selected within the custom fields would determine what forms are required. As for example, here you see we have the green affidavit and checklist. We have the energy code compliance path. We do require what is a minimum of a plan, elevation plan, floor plan, and a site plan. We know that for a new construction, you're required more than that. But just to get this submitted, these are the required documents that are triggered or plans. So we're gonna go ahead and gotcha.
Is it okay if I select a file at random just to upload, or if you have a certain?
You can select one at random. I don't think there's anything confidential on that.
Okay, yes. Which one?
Go to the documents, see if anything's in there. That PDF, that 20.
Your
Do that.
AI. The top one on the bottom one, yeah.
Okay, I'll use that one for all of
Yeah.
So as you can see, it would require you to upload all these documents prior to you moving on to the next step. Some of our records do not require anything at submittal. Depending on the process of that particular team that processed the application, they will let you know what would be required. All right, so this is a good example of what happens. So when you get to this particular section and you're uploading documents, what'll happen or can happen, and it happens often, is you get an error message if you try to kind of rush through it and continue the application without it kind of getting all those documents uploaded, completed fully. You'll get the error message, but if you just continue application again, and it should allow you to move forward. You guys may come across it because every single one that have tested has, and as you see now, it just moved it forward after that. So then we have our final step for the review section. This again is giving you this is going to give you an overview of the overall application, every section within the application, all your responses, all your answers to the fields, your primary contractor. This allows you, or it gives you within each section an option to edit or go back into the particular section to change your information. Okay. Okay, once we have confirmed that everything is looks correct, we have our documents. There is a certification you will need to agree to. What it'll do is once you check the box, it will timestamp the application. And then with you selecting continue application, it would go ahead and move it forward to the payment section of the application, which again, you're having to pay a $15 technology fee in order for it to be submitted.
And it usually happens pretty quickly, but with the system migration and everything, bear with us.
Are your review times for standard and Q team gonna remain the same?
No,
Review times?
not the first month. Not,
You don't have to ask the question.
Ooh. Yeah, so we're kind of working through that. The first month, again, there'll be some learning challenges, and again, the influx. People are kind of freaked out that we're shut down for a week and not taking them in. And so I imagine that first time, and what we learned with when we first went to online permitting, you get a lot of first time people that have never applied for a permit, and they just start submitting stuff, and man, trying to work through that stuff and call them back and say, we need a better site plan and floor plan, and what are you doing? that's the crux of it. But we feel like within 30, 45 days, our review times will really be right where they are, if not better, because staff will be more efficient. We'll have a better track on what's coming through. Again, they won't be working through two systems. Another part of this is after a certain amount of time, if there's no activity with the application, it'll go away in the system. Right now, we get to see everything when somebody starts it. We've seen actual application where the applicant has tried 4 different times and they start over, and it's like, why are they? And we have to kind of clean that up. And so that's the part I'm excited about. So review times will initially probably spike up. I hate that it's happening during the total building season. There's never a good time to go live, but we're throwing all of our teammates at this, and we'll be working overtime to not slow development down.
So Alexis, you have a question. So an upload instance, if there are multiple elevation sheets, we upload one PDF file, then after screening, we will upload all additional drawings. So I'll answer this to the best of my understanding at the moment. There will be a notice or some type of message that once you pay your submittal fee, then you'll be able to come back into the system and then upload the rest of your documents. And it'll actually be listed as attachments. That's where that will take place.
Yeah, great question, Alexis. I think that's going to be probably one of the stuck points is that folks don't have to upload everything. There's only like 4 items that are required on the initial submittal, but then to get everything submitted, it's going to be after the fee payment. I believe there's going to be a spot where it says attachments, and so we're going to have to work through how we communicate that. We need to change something in the seller to be more clear, or put a little question mark where there's a query and say upload additional items later. But right now, I think there's 4 things that need to be uploaded, and then there's a second opportunity if there's more documents to upload with attachments.
And then if we get to pre-screen, if we see, hey, we only got the required, then that's when we do the like additional info required. Please upload drawings if it comes to that point.
But very, very good questions from you guys, giving us a lot to think about in some areas that we can tweak and be more clear. But again, I've learned a couple of things about the system.
Okay, so you can see here we have a $15 technology fee. We're going to go ahead and select checkout. Once you select checkout, the initial checkout button, it gives us a temporary file number. And if you were to have to sign out, this would be saved under your work in progress on your dashboard. Mine's records underneath which module type you're under. If you're doing multiple submittals at one, you can just add it to cart, and you can pay multiple fee types with one transaction, and the receipt will break out, which fee is paid for what.
Right. And so that's one of the wonderful things about this technology, that there's going to be detailed receipts or invoices, unlike the past. Before, it was just a permit number, and folks would always say, my boss wants to see a more detailed breakout, or which project is this for. And so that is one of the things we made sure that we have a very detailed receipt broke out, showing what you're paying for.
So we're going to go ahead and select checkout, since we have our temporary file number, and if we were doing multiple payments, we're just going to go ahead and select checkout. Currently in the system, you have the ability to pay with credit card or bank account. We're going to ahead and pay with credit card. We're going to select submit payment. This does take us to a vendor that works with Excel. Here you'll type in your credit card number. We have a dummy card for testing.
You're too fast for it, Clinton. I heard you type it and it didn't even populate yet.
Sorry. Give me a second.
No, it's okay. So the bank account piece, I guess it's not the same as a routing number, or it's, I guess in lieu of a check, they can put a bank account number. That's where we've been kind of going back and forth, trying to create an opportunity to have as many ways to pay. Now that email, they'll actually get an email if you would have left that email, right? Even in the test mode.
Correct.
And I don't know what you're about ready to finish with this demonstration. Uh, uh, Well, that is the nice thing about this. You get inundated with information about your project, where it is, when the payment is due, what the next steps are, when an inspection has taken place. That was one of the things that we think will help the development community understand what the next steps are. And once they get used to it, it'll probably inundate them first, but then when they understand where their project is and are able to save it, it'll save on phone calls and misconceptions about the status of the plan review, about the status of inspections, when payments are due. So that is one of the things we really wanted to bake in, opportunities to connect with the development community and where they could keep up with their project. I have clients who ask for ACH bank transfers as payment. That would be great to offer. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's put that down and figure out how we can make that happen. Yes, some of the larger projects, specifically the ones that go through Q Team. I'm thinking about the Saks Fifth project that are the valuation is incredible. So yeah, we do want to make sure we have all available opportunities, because I know some of them we've talked about, even folks having to come in and pay with a check or something. And I don't want an online system to be where you have to jump in a car and come. We love to see you guys, but we don't want that to have to be a necessity. An error has occurred. Maybe you've overcharged on your credit card, Clinton. So where are we?
So I was doing the credit card payment. I don't know if it's because they're working in a system, if it didn't go through.
Okay. So there was a glitch, because we've heard that it might be with them going in and out system, even though this is our test mode. It did not populate the way we've seen it populate.
There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes right
Yeah,
now.
the system has gotten real wonky in the last 5 to 10 minutes. So Clinton, we won't attribute that to your skill set. I was wondering, man. You're right. It's starting to drag. Are there any glaring questions that you guys have? It's nice to have someone in the audience that's actually worked with it. And you say it's in Fort Worth, and now was it with Fort Worth, or
Most, the one was in California that I remember, but it's in several jurisdictions. I can't remember.
Right. I think San Antonio has it, and a couple of other municipalities. And so, yeah, that was another part of it, that other folks were already familiar with it in the local area. And so we're hoping that that'll help, the learning curve on it.
So doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to finish the payment, but once you pay, it would give you a record number for commercial new. It would be COM-NEW-25, which would be the year. And then a sequential number for that year for that specific record type. So our permit numbers today, existing versus what you'll see come May 5th when you submit a new record, they will be different, and the record number will be specifically towards that record type.
So let me ask you, since I've really been on the sideline, this temp, it stays in temp until it's an official, it's fully been accepted, or that 15, that initial fee has been paid?
So there is a cutoff for temporary applications. Once that threshold is reached for the expiration date for the temporary records, they fall off.
Okay.
And if you don't complete it or pay that temporary technology fee by then, that temporary file gets removed.
It's like 30, 45, it's out there though. It's not a week or two. We don't,
I
10 days. So they have 10 days to pay the fee or to get it out of temp status. Can they start a project and walk away for 8 days and then come back and finish it within 2 days? But if they start it and don't get back to it in 15 days, it'll fall off, or?
Yeah, so if you're going through application and you realize, hey, I don't have all this information, you can save it and return it later. And basically it'll save a temporary record number exactly as this one is in grade. And instead of complete payment, it would you would be able to resume application would be your option.
One more question. I don't want to take up your guys' time, but so it'll stay. So gray is in temps. It'll actually be color coded like this also. So that
So your temporary records are all gray like this.
okay.
Because it doesn't have a hyperlink. You can see if I hover over this, have a hyperlink.
Okay.
If I select that, it'll take me directly to that record.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, so
Sorry, I have a few questions. Least important one first, real quick. Is this presentation being recorded online? It is. Will the DBAs tomorrow? I imagine you guys are giving the same presentation. That will also be recorded.
They set up that presentation.
They set that
It's up to them.
Okay, gotcha. So, sorry, just some clarification here. I might have missed this, but when it comes to the delegates or just kind of security writ large, because I'm imagining, and I don't have any real experience in or involvement in a general contract capacity or anything like that. But I'm imagining a scenario where a disgruntled subcontractor actions something. I mean, is there anything that could be actioned by a party involved in a project that could disrupt things as a result of there not being like permissions given? You can hop in and pay somebody else's permit bill. What other actions outside of being given those permissions added as a delegate would somebody hop in and mess with?
So I will be able to search for records. Depending on the record type, it's going to be limited information to that individual that's not associated with that account or associated with that particular record. They wouldn't be able to make any kind of action towards that record outside of payment. If there's a fee
You can't even
due.
do the attachments. Like you can literally just make the payment, but you can't see any of the documents that they've
Like you
uploaded,
have a
nothing.
link on the side there that says paid.
Right.
Take you, that's all you can see. You can see the status.
You can see the processing
and-
status, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. It'll show a map like that to show where it's at, but beyond that, they have no access.
Gotcha.
But also to follow up on that, so say there is a disgruntled someone attached to it and they wanted to either remove themselves or do something else, then there's a check and balance that the city staff has to go in there and look at it. It's not just automatic. And so there are steps and levels, but again, if they're not a delegate, if they're a delegate, then they have the rights that delegate was authorized to have.
So if you have a employee who working for you that you are terminating, my recommendation before you terminate them, come in here to account management or my account, come down here to delegates, and you can remove them as delegate right then and there. So that way you remove that chance of them doing any kind of harm to your record. So once the record is submitted, there, you can change contact, you can change the licensed professional, or if it's an inspection status, you can apply for a TCO, or you can apply for an amendment, like a change of scope of work, right? So you need to move this door from there to here, you know, that's really all you can do once it's in there. As far as trying to withdraw or cancel the record, that has to be done into an amendment, and staff has to approve that. It goes through a review process. So if you have a employee that you're releasing, come here to my account and go to delegates and remove anybody you have.
I have one last question about kind of process redundancy after this launch. I'm thinking back to the cyber hacking that happened a couple of years ago with a lot of city data getting frozen essentially. Is the department, imagine if anything similar like that were to happen post DallasNow, the department would basically be ready to just resurrect its old processes? Would that be the protocol or?
Well, the beautiful thing about this being in the cloud, being web-based, it has extra layers of protection. It's not tied to one of our servers, and so there are protections that are based in that are in place, and there are some redundancies that are set up.
I see, because those hacks were like localized servers themselves were compromised.
That's
Okay, got it.
that's correct. That was another reason that we really kind of looked at some of the opportunities to have a more robust systems and not be so tied down, but at the same time protect the client's information. Question: how would the interface be for staff under PDocs? I saw that every time I created a new application, email was sent to every facilitator saying you have a new project assigned to you. If everyone is assigned to the project, then no one is assigned to the project.
So, want me to take this one?
Jump on it.
So again, Project Docs won't be our submittal tool anymore. Project Docs is really intended for a review tool. We just happen to go through a certain time around 2020 to 22 with COVID. We may do with what we had. So with DallasNow, there is not necessarily an email that goes out to employees. Employees will have certain record types assigned to different department teams, and then they'll be able to go through their query of work and handle with their types of record submittals that they work with.
Yeah, what's wonderful, staff can actually have file cabinets of the type of work, whether it's new commercial, they can almost organize their work stream and things that are assigned to them or to their group and go out there and pick it, no different than a old school plan shelf and see what that project is and determine if they're pulling it off the shelf. Yeah, the days of staff getting inundated with emails, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a lesson learned. Everyone was getting emails and no one was responding to them. Because it was so many, and like, who owns this, and did you already respond to it? That was crazy. So I shudder thinking back about 2020 and COVID and all the information that came our way.
I have a question just in general. So this is being recorded. We'll have this available on the AIA Dallas website for everybody. But if someone were to have a question and didn't ask it today, or just kind of came to their head tomorrow, who should they reach out to, and what would be the process for like any further conversation about this?
If it's just a conversation about this discussion, you can reach out to Clinton or Celine. If it's once we go live, then we want it to go through the proper channels. And again, if it's something that we missed or you thought about something during this presentation or any presentation, then it's going to be open to the core group and to the leads. If it's something, once someone submits and it's a live submittal, then we want it to go through the process and kind of figure it out. So we'll all learn together, make sure the system is as robust as we need it to be. But great question. We really appreciate it. We thank you guys for for hosting us and for allowing us to come and share this experience with you again. The timelines, unfortunately, I believe will lag the first probably 30 days, but again, we have staff really geared up. We've really been doing a lot of testing and practicing. If you notice, there were questions asked that were kind of outside the box. We really hadn't looked at who could pay was based on what we were informed of. And so we've learned some things today, and I'm sure we'll continue to learn and become more efficient. The things that we're able to do in our current system amazed me compared to what we were able to do 3-4 years ago. And so I have no doubt staff is really ready to get on this new system and give it a whirl. And so appreciate all of our online participants. Stephanie, wow, you've asked some great questions. We appreciate that, and thank you guys for the online attendees, and thank you guys for the folks that took the time to drive out here and come and see us. We really appreciate it.
You for the demonstration. Informative.
Hey Stephanie, your hand is still up. Is that from earlier, or do you have another question?
That might have been related to the Q&A that was open. Oh, he's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and close out this webinar so that everyone can get back to their day, and then including our wonderful presenters. Thank you guys so much.
Good stuff.